Hello, and welcome to episode number 3 of Tangent Tuesday. Some of you noticed that this episode is a week late. I do apologize. I was at a dog show for Memorial Day weekend and set some very unrealistic expectations when I thought that I would be able to record the day I got back from the dog show. Turns out my brain was mashed bananas and I could not form coherent thoughts or sentences, so I decided to do everyone a favor and postpone this episode a week. So thank you for your patience. Today I want to carry on the conversation from 2 weeks ago where we talked about, we have a dog who's doing a thing, we don't like the thing. Well, why is the dog doing the thing? What does the dog want? And then I said most of the time we can give the dog what it wants, but what about those times when we can't? Either because it's just not plausible, it's not safe for people, it's not safe for the dog, or it's just not healthy for the dog's emotional well-being. And in those contexts, we're more than likely looking at a very stressed dog. And I say very stressed because there are times in which the dog might be a little stressed and want some space, and we can reward them with space, and that's successful, but sometimes that's just not enough, right? And so let's remember that aggression is a stress response. Fear, right? Flight, need to get out of here yesterday, right now, stress response. Dog is under stress. And so we're really talking about teaching a dog to relax in a context. Relax and possibly even be happy about it, right? We want to change their mind about a given situation. We're talking about behavior modification. Now, anytime we're looking at this route, right? A dog is very, very stressed. We need to first do just kind of like a medical checkup on the dog, make sure there's nothing going on there. I know that when I feel icky on the inside, sometimes I act a little icky on the outside. I'm sure that's true for you too. Especially if the behavior is a sudden onset, then we definitely want to have the dog checked out by a vet before we start going down the behavior modification route. Do get management strategies in place to keep everyone and everything safe before checkup. But once you have a clean bill of health and you're good to go, you can start down your behavior modification road, right? Teaching the dog to relax in the context or avoid it, right? So there are times when a dog might be very stressed in a certain context and it doesn't happen all that often and it's easy enough to avoid. So if I had a dog who was really scared of people coming over, but liked people outside of the house, was perfectly happy to meet people on walks, out in the world, but just didn't like it when people were in their house and I lived alone and only had company over once a year and didn't plan on changing that, then that once a year that I have company over, I'm probably just going to have my friend watch my dog for me. Easy enough. But if you're the kind of person with that dog who likes to have company over once a week or once a month or 6-7 times a year, then you're going to need to teach your dog how to relax in that context and possibly, hopefully, even be happy about it. So I know that I'm about to get into a little bit of a taboo topic and people don't necessarily like talking about it, but why do we make a dog endure extreme stress, even sometimes while we're working through behavior modification, when we have medication available that could make a significant difference to the dog's emotional well-being? Take a deep breath. Don't leave me yet. I'm going to explain myself a little bit. So if I took my dog to the vet and I learned that my dog was a diabetic, I'm going to give my dog medication to help regulate their system. If I learn that my dog has Addison's disease, I'm going to give them medication to help regulate their system. If I learn that my dog has hypothyroidism, an underactive thyroid, I'm going to give them medication to regulate their thyroid. If I learn that my dog's an epileptic, I'm going to give them medication to help regulate their brain chemistry and firings and things. But for some reason, we learn that our dog has an extreme anxiety or phobia or other thing going on there. And we cringe when we think about medication. Why? Your dog's not making enough serotonin. If you can't make your own serotonin. Store-bought's fine, right? And for the most part, when we put dogs on medication before going through a behavior modification plan, I mean, the plan is to wean them off of the medication at the end. It's just there so that they don't have to go through all that extreme stress on a daily basis or close to daily basis while you're working through that plan. Now, I would argue that denying a dog a less stressful life while you're working through your training is a little cruel, isn't it? I mean, if I'm absolutely terrified of something that I have to encounter multiple times a week, and someone has something that I could take that could help me feel even, moderately better, while they help me learn that the thing that I'm afraid of is not so scary, I think I want that. I want that thing to help regulate my brain chemistry so that I don't have to get so scared so fast. Now, I think that part of the problem with medication is that there's not enough education out there about how it works and what it does. And I am encouraging everyone to learn more about it, to learn more about how it works, because it shouldn't change the dog that you have in front of you. Your dog should still be your dog. They should still have their same happy personality. Your veterinarian, if it's something that you're interested in, can definitely talk to you about side effects. If your veterinarian isn't comfortable prescribing medication or isn't sure what to do, most veterinary behaviorists will consult with your veterinarian over the phone about medication or what medication might be right for your dog. Now, I'm not saying that every single dog out there who's afraid of something should go and get drugs. That's not what I'm saying. I am talking about dogs who are under extreme distress. Extreme distress. So a good example of this would be dogs who suffer from separation anxiety, in a sense that they're not just a little worried when you leave and then they settle down. They're having a panic attack the entire time you're gone. Say you work for 6 hours. So for 6 hours, your dog is pacing around your house, howling, screaming, drooling, and trembling. That's a 6-hour-long panic attack. Think about that feeling you get when you're walking down a flight of stairs and you miss a step. That's an awful feeling, and I would hate to feel like that for 6 hours. Now, we have something that we can give the dog to help them feel better so that they don't feel like that much garbage while you're gone. I'm not talking about sedatives. We don't want sedatives. We want behavior modifications. We're looking at SSRIs, benzos, things to help absorb more serotonin in your brain and take that edge off a bit so you can relax a little on your own, so we can help your brain make the things it needs to make to help you feel better. I don't think that's a bad thing. Maybe when some people want to argue with me about that, sure. I'm always open to conversations. But that is today's Tangent Tuesday, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.